Hey Summoners, welcome to IPL Killing Spree. This week we got a good one for you. I'm Hat Person, that's the Red Baron, and we have an interesting matchup this week. Now, some of you may remember Curse won last week, but right now they're off doing things in Kiev.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty interesting. So we have Curse. Curse is our current winner, so that's undisputed right now. But we've actually brought in EPIK Gaming and RFLX Gaming. So two really top teams. RFLX, not a lot known about them. They did have the big breakthrough where they qualified for MLG. That was pretty exciting, and they've been in and out a couple of things. But so what we're going to do with the format, everyone knows, or hopefully the Killing Spree format. It's King of the Hill matches, and the winner goes on to the next week. After 3 weeks, you start accruing a bonus. So you start off with $300 a match, and then you get up to $400 a match. And then you get a bounty. So when someone beats you, you're going to give that bounty to them, and then they get your prizes and whatnot. But so Curse, they're the current champion. Here we're going to play another match, and then next week it's going to be kind of a battle of champions thing.
Yeah, so Curse is going to play whoever wins this week, and then we're just going to go ahead and continue on from there. And also, just because these guys are playing for money doesn't mean that you at home can't win stuff too. If you tuned in last week, you saw us giving away our little Razer mouse pads. We're giving away another one. We got another one being given away to you guys this week. And still, we have our IPL hoodies where the pros play.
He wears his hoodie all the time.
I wear it every day. I love my hoodie. It's so warm in this San Francisco weather, even though I don't really need it. But you may be somewhere in a colder region. So if you want to win the mouse pad and the hoodie, all you need to do is hop on Twitter at IGN Pro League and tweet us who you think is going to win. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, so it should be a pretty exciting match. And, while you're on there, make sure to check out Hat Person myself. I'm at Baroncast, and this is at Hat Person. But I honestly, I don't know a lot about RFLX. I know that a couple of them, were on unrestricted. And so that was actually a team that was around for quite some time. They were, kind of semi-competitive. I mean, they were a very strong team, very talented team, but they, kind of were hopping in and out, kind of like what Curse is doing, or has been doing for the past, up until last week. That was a, awesome win. But so they've got some really, exciting players. Otherwise, I don't really know a lot about. I think Valkyrin, Lauta Mortis, and Arknight were all from unrestricted, I believe.
Cool. And we have everyone here in the game.
It should be pretty interesting to see what kind of comps they look to run. I haven't really seen a lot of EPIK. We are actually running on the new live.
We are on new live. We do have Sejuani.
Yep,
new patch. We are on new patch. So we are all about ready to go. We have Champ Select up. Everyone is in the room. Everyone's ready to go.
So because this is the Sejuani patch, we do have a couple of changes. I think it'd be pretty... I don't know, probable that we might expect actually Jax to come back. And Jax, you haven't seen him in competitive play for a while, but he's, just fantastic champ. Everyone loves playing him. Dyrus isn't actually here. Otherwise, maybe we see a Dyrus Jax. But
that would be amazing.
We are, maybe see him in the jungle. He's definitely probably a pretty strong jungler, at least from what I can tell. His new moveset, for those who don't know, he has a stun on command. He doesn't have to wait for dodges. It has a 1.5 second build-up, but you can charge that up while you're, incoming on someone and then just hop on them. So that's, pretty exciting. Sejuani also might be pretty strong in the jungle. Not really sure.
we're gonna find out because we've only had less than a day and everything.
Yeah.
So far with the bans, we got Graves, Sona, Kennen, and Shaco being banned out. But we had the recent Shaco changes. I'm not sure if he's that big of a threat anymore due to the change on those box cooldowns. But you know what? Better safe than sorry. Better just get him out of here just to make sure.
It's actually interesting because the box cooldowns, it did, hurt Shaco a lot. It took a lot from him. But the fact of the matter is, in competitive play, it didn't really change who Shaco was as a character. And Shaco, as a character, he's primarily, the strongest counter jungler in the game. And, one of the strongest gankers. So it doesn't affect his counter jungling or ganking. It really just takes out that nasty play of you're dropping boxes all over the place, and then someone, away down the line walks in the box. You have to be more strategic with your boxes, which is the main point.
Yeah, and you also can't do just, leave all the boxes at blue buff and then just camp out in that lane bush. So Rammus and Kassan also getting banned out. And first pick, Sivir.
Yeah, Sivir. I haven't seen Sivir in a while, but I remember, back when she was buffed, she's just been really strong.
She's just one of my favorite champs too, man. Like I mean, I will play Pack Sivir any opportunity I get just because I enjoy her that much.
It really should be interesting to see what kind of a comp they build around Sivir, though, because you can really go any sort of way. You can play her kind of more as a standard DPS now, but she's also very viable in like pushing comps or poke comps. She's got the shield and whatnot, but I don't know, just what she adds to her team, her creep clearing capabilities, and then the AoE damage. She's much stronger as far as the AoE is concerned. After the changes, where you don't have to just be sitting there auto attacking constantly. You can kind of move around, position yourself a little bit better.
Yep. And also, there's been some rumblings also too that Sivir is kind of like the anti-Graves, the anti-Vayne.
Yeah.
So kind of like beat out those other kind of bursty ranged ADs.
And that's kind of interesting. I was actually kind of expecting we might see a West Rice playing Akali.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of interesting.
But we were also thinking last week with Curse CLG that we were going to see an RE then. We didn't then. We are now.
But it's definitely smart for them to wait on that Akali. I wasn't sure if they were going to pick her right away, kind of trolling us there for a second.
Yeah.
Because Akali, she was nerfed some. She's still very strong.
Absolutely.
But she needs some good situations. So RE just kind of, I don't know, she's just kind of all around strong. Like I don't know, the biggest comparison is probably Ahri to LeBlanc, but Ahri definitely has more mobility, definitely has more utility in team fights, even though LeBlanc is, a much stronger burst caster, can kind of just roam the map and really destroy through that early and mid game.
Yeah. And, Soraka also being, always a solid pick by anyone and anyone else who just, enjoys your support. Soraka, the de facto.
And Soraka actually prevents some of what Sivir brings to the table. Like, if you have Sivir plus Soraka, that's just a huge poke comp. You can just sit there and clear those creep waves all day with Sivir and just withstand the enemy, like just hold them at the tower, and they'll never push your tower down with Soraka.
Reflex waiting for the last possible moment to make their picks. We got Trundle in the jungle. We got a Taric Sivir. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Just stun them, get the entire full proc into Boomerang.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's a pretty strong
I like
combo.
it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
I might be mistaken, but I believe Sivir's Boomerang is magic. I know it was physical at some point, but I think they switched it back. So they, I don't think so, but I don't think you'll have that synergy with the armor penetration of Taric. But you do see that they are building a poke comp right now, so that deny of the Soraka by EPIK was definitely a good move. Trundle, that's really his biggest strength. He's, all-around strong jungler. He clears the jungle very effectively, and is strong in engages through the early and mid game. But you often see him in poke comps, and that pillar allows your team a chance to disengage the enemy and just kind of reset the playing field.
I like the Tristana pick. I think Tristana is the correct pick against Sivir because she does have her a better escape.
Yeah,
I feel than Vayne, or if Graves was not banned, Graves would have.
Well, and also the big thing with Tristana is actually, through the early and mid-game, kind of a burst caster kind of DPS. She's got a ton of nuke damage. I think at level 6, with your auto attacks and then throwing off your full combo, you can get close to 1,000 damage in like 2 seconds. So what we're seeing from EPIK is a team very focused on picking people off, just finding your opportunities to engage. Ahri is all about picking people off. You've got the snare, just a single target snare.
Yep.
Pick up a kill. Malphite is, huge initiation. Just let me get in. So they're really going to pick their battles, wait until they have someone out of position, and then Tristana is that burst, to pick people off as well. And then it's interesting to see Vlad. Vlad gives them a nice balance where they have that sustain through fights rather than focusing all on burst. And the double mage, that's going to be really strong. That's a ton of damage.
Now here's the thing: who goes mid, who goes top?
It really depends. I would expect to see Vlad top for the majority of this game.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way: who does better against Rumble? Who does better against Rise? Because we're also seeing a double AP. We're seeing double AP on both ends here.
Yeah, I'm actually really liking both teams. Reflex in particular has a really strong team. Rise is a fantastic caster.
Well, I'm noticing this. I'm noticing this on Reflex. Sivir and Taric both have heal.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Ooh.
So but see, that's the thing. They basically just want to farm all day.
They're playing to stay in lane for quite a while. They don't want to go back home. They just want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also like the exhaust on Taric too. Coming for the stun, exhaust, Still slow, just really, really setting up every possible opportunity for Sivir and Trundle.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly, EPIK is going to be trying to get the matchup Ahri versus Ryze. Ryze, very strong early game caster. He could really do a lot of damage to Vlad and just pressure him out of lane early. Vlad needs to get a couple of levels. Though we did see kind of a buff to Vlad in this patch, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. He lost 2 seconds off of his early game transfuse. So that'll definitely help him out in the lane a lot. But regardless, Rumble, while he's going to be very kind of formidable foe throughout the rest of the game, as long as Vlad and Ahri keep their distance, they both have escapes from Rumble. That's the biggest issue with Rumble. Rumble's kind of weak early game through the first couple of levels, but then once he gets going, he can really just terrorize you, and just once he starts chasing you down, the damage output and everything, it's just impossible to get away. But both of them are going to be capable, so Vlad will really want that matchup, so he can just sit there and farm all game.
Yep, I also like the Malphite in jungle too. He's a jungler I like to see every once in a while. Very solid, rock solid, if you will.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting what they're trying to do here. They have lots of burst in all of their lanes, and Malphite as a jungle, he's not really the strongest at clearing the jungle, but he does give you a great initiation, and that's going to be key for ganking those lanes. Whether or not he can get those engages, just pop someone up for his lane, and then you get that disable for like an Ahri. Ahri's just going to take the person down. You get the disable for a Vlad. Vlad's just going to be dealing tons of damage. We've got 2 ignites on EPIK to go along with that aggressive ganking jungle of Malphite.
Okay, so these are your teams for Game 1, Reflex versus EPIK. Reflex running Taric, Trundle, Sivir, Ryze, and Rumble. EPIK going Vladimir, Ahri, Malphite, Soraka, and Tristana. So that is at Game 1. We will be right back in just a minute. This is IPL Killing Spree. See you in a second. Everyone, welcome back to IPL Killing Spree. This is Game 1, Reflex versus EPIK. And you know what? Just right now, I'm looking at EPIK. They've won the skin war. It's over. It's over.
I don't know. I like both of the skins. Actually, oh, wait. Both of the skins, meaning that Reflex has almost none.
It's skins are skins. They will always be what they will always be.
What I love about this match is that you can really tell what both teams going for. Like, there's no, I don't know. It's pretty clear. We've got really early game aggression. Oh, lots of early mid game aggression.
EPIK is getting ready.
There's some aggression.
Oh, I think we're gonna get some sight. I'm not sure if Reflex is gonna get any vision on them as they're coming around. Oh,
not
EPIK is.
Yet. Oh, actually,
they're doing their dance. They're doing their dance. Ahri's getting trying to get as much damage as she can off on Taric, but they're just doing their little dance in that little triangle there, and they're just. Oh, Sivir had a connection issue, but she's back. It's good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
But it should be really interesting. We do see, as we talked about, EPIK's going to have a very aggressive early game team, whereas Reflex, they're very clearly going to be pushing towards a mid game, and Trundle needs to kind of hold off through a bit of the game. Sivir very good at just stalling a game out, and then Rumble and Ryze, there's gonna be a point in the game where they're gonna like reach critical mass, and Ryze, just once he gets a couple of those items, gets like a Banshee's Veil and just some mana and some early tanking items, he can just be absolutely devastating. He's got great single target damage, which is a lot of what we see out of Team Reflex. Lots of single target damage. And then Rumble with the huge ultimate, just tons of poke damage. And that's Ryze has a lot, or Rumble has a lot of AoE damage, but really what his role is to kind of help pick off champions. He's really a single target is where he's got his best burst there. Yeah. But then, the ultimate, it really is just very disruptive for all range carries. Even though Tristana can hop out of it, she's not going to be able to sit in that ultimate in the middle of a fight dealing her damage. So if you can, force a fight, and then force Tristana out of there, they're losing a significant portion of their damage, and that could really throw them behind early.
Also keep in mind that both teams are running double AP, which Soraka's silence is going to be worth so much in the team fights. And if she doesn't land those correctly on the right people, that could mean the demise of EPIK in Game 1.
Yeah, and we see right off the bat, Soraka dropping a ward down here. I don't think we're going to see that much aggressive play from Reflex down in, well, I guess really in any of these lanes. Perhaps Ryze will try and throw some aggression out. Right. But you know, she wants to maintain map control, maintain brush control, which is always really important.
Malphite's wandering in towards mid. He has both buffs. I'm not sure if we're going to quite get in that angle on Rise.
Oh, he peeked.
He peeked. Yeah, it's
Rise actually didn't
blown.
see, so he's coming in. He's actually got him cut off. He actually is
Oh,
going to be able to get the snare.
The snare
Wow,
works
just
on
dealing
Rise.
a ton of damage.
Has to flash away. Barely gets out, but he's going to pop that potion. He's not going to go back.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a very clutch
strange.
snare. That was a clutch snare on
We do
Ari.
see Malphite coming right back in
coming
right
back
away.
around.
Rise is kind of sitting out there, kind of in a dangerous position.
Unaware, he's going to peek out. Dandai,
oh,
he's
there's
coming
the
in.
snare again, and there's the kill.
And there's the pancake right to Rise. Welcome to IHOP. First blood.
Welcome to
Epic.
IHOP.
Welcome to IHOP. You got the pancakes, man.
But right
serving
off
up
the bat,
pancakes all day.
Right off the bat, that aggression is serving Epic. And I was about to say, Reflex, they do have an advantage in that Trundle is 1,000 times better at taking Dragon. But right now, we have Trundle coming up.
Trying to do something on Vladimir. He gets the pillar up.
Pull. There's the pull.
There's the pull.
But he got the slow. Trundle got one slow, so they're going to deal a little bit more damage.
Yeah.
He's going to back out, though.
So, you know, Malphite is doing something in Reflex's jungle, but Sivir and Terra can go ahead, take a
He's actually trying
taking
to
the
gank.
golems for a second
where
time.
they are, actually.
They have an inkling. They've pinged. They've pinged to the golems, but they're not really going to press the issue. And since Trundle's busy top lane trying to do something against the pool of blood,
and here's the pillar. He's not really going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Vlad's just going to back out of there.
Yeah. You ever see that Rage comic where it's just Vladimir just goes into his pool? He's got the little troll face on him. That's how I feel.
Oh right. Yeah.
That's how I feel every time. Every time.
Tarek did drop a ward to protect them out. Once again, they're going to be really passive in this lane, which actually it will be to Epic's benefit to a degree that they're being passive. That is what Reflex is trying to do. However, Trundle, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. We were distracted by something in the studio. But dang.
Yeah, Trundle,
but anyway,
Trundle doing stuff up top. Vladimir did die.
But I was about to say, Trundle, he's a very aggressive jungler as far as taking Dragon, and that Dragon control could be huge for the early game.
Ari's just doing
Reflex.
work on Rise and mid. My God.
For those who don't know, Trundle can actually take Dragon at level 5 if he has Wriggles, but he can, like around level 6, take Dragon, with just a Madred's Claw. He doesn't even need the Wriggles. So, that should be interesting to see. But the reason the passivity of bot lane is going to work to Epic's benefit is because a passive bot lane is going to tend to push back when you're going to try and do Dragon. And that's going to start moving towards the fact that Epic, they don't really have good Dragon control. None of the champions on their team, except for maybe Tristana, are going to be very effective at taking Dragon, and she's actually going for double Doran, so she's not going to have a ton of Dragon bursts like you might see with Wriggles.
So Vladimir's just trying to go toe-to-toe with Rumble, and this time, still losing pretty bad on his own, but he's going to gain some of the health back, and he did put a ward by Baron, fool me once. And I doubt we're going to see... well, you never know. We could see Trundle making more attempts up top lane, but once he realized this is warded, those attempts may just kind of grind to a halt for a minute. We have to focus a little more on mid or bottom. Because Ari is actually really, really aggressive in mid lane right now. And Trundle coming around on mid. He's just chilling. He's waiting
I'm not
for
really
his
sure he's going to
moment.
get the good engagement.
Oh, there's the snare. There's the pillar. And the exhaust. Ari's going to ult away. She's got her 6. Tries to get her own little taunt off, but... yeah, we're going to deal some damage, and she's still going to get away pretty convincingly. There comes another snare from Rise. It's not going to do too much, but Trundle's coming back around. He might just go ahead and take those Wraiths.
Yeah, and without mana, on Ari, Rise can just kind of sit there. He really... I don't know. There's not much threat that Malphite's going to get a gank off on his
Epic
own.
has vision of Rumble in that tri-bush. They don't know Trundle's there, though.
They don't have any vision of this.
No, they saw Rumble come around. They saw the ward in the river.
Oh, did it just die?
No, it's still there. It's still there. Rumble. They saw Rumble go into the bush. They didn't see Trundle go in, though.
He's actually, I think he's just out of range of that ward.
Yeah, they pinged him. They pinged him. They know.
Okay.
They know. But now they know Trundle's there. And look at this. Now, there's 2 wards that Reflex has posted bot lane. Very defensive ward in that tri-bush. Very defensive ward. And it kind of worries me to think that maybe they feel that they're a little bit more vulnerable than when they really aren't. But
well, I mean, they do have a lot of burst damage from Tristana, and then if Malphite gets the pop-up, they could probably just burst someone down.
Well, Rise is going to be meeting Malphite. They know he's there. Malphite gets that little ward off in that quick little bush right over there. But Rise is alone. He doesn't want to walk into a 2v1 here. And Ari is just actually going to be meandering down also. Rise is going to get the blue from Trundle. Ari's put a ward, very offensive ward, in the same tri-bush that Reflex warded earlier.
Yeah, it seems to me like EPIK is kind of, I don't know, I wasn't sure if they were trying to look to do Dragon, because they were kind of just hanging out around there for a while, but just getting some good counter jungle. Maybe if Trundle had popped up top to gank, you know, maybe they would group their team, because then they would have a 4v3 situation. That would probably be a good situation, even though Malphite isn't very strong at taking Dragon.
Yeah, EPIK is actually playing quite offensively.
Yeah.
So, but I think they're also kind of somewhat aware that that the early game is kind of theirs, but mid-late game may actually belong over to Reflex.
Yeah, Malphite should be level 6 any second now, and once he's level 6, that'll be huge.
Ari's coming in trying to do something. He gets the Ignite off on Rise, but he's just going to go ahead and just walk
She
right
actually
away.
ignited near the beginning, which is kind of interesting to me. Rather than going for a kill, a lot of times you'll see Ignite a little bit later. But she thought she was going to get the burst down. I guess maybe she wanted the ability power from that Master. I'm not sure if she's running it.
So we got Trundle still trying to do something. Soraka going in, puts the ward down by Dragon. And Trundle is actually going to be going around down bot lane. Trying to get some pings off. I don't think Trundle's just kind of confused as where he's going right now. That bush is warded, so they do know that Trundle is right now on the defensive.
And he's not really going to get any ganks on bot.
No.
I think his primary goal right now is just to farm. He could gank, mid a little bit, but Ari does have some good survivability there, and then Vlad's going to be pretty easy to survive. Vlad actually taking a decent amount of damage here. Just Rumble kind of controlling this lane. That's really good for Rumble. He can sit there and farm, but I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of kills here until Malphite starts getting out in the field.
Ryan, Rumble's got his revolver. Vlad doesn't yet. But once he does, and it's really just going to go in Vlad's favor. He just makes back so much more health than Rumble can. Rumble has possibilities too. But Ari and Malphite wandering up top through the jungle. We might have Trundle makes himself known in mid lane. They're trying to do a 2-man push. Rise and Trundle, but Ari's close by, Malphite's close by. He's taking those rates. Ari's getting snared, pillars up, gets exhausted.
Oh, but
Ari's ulting away.
There.
Rise barely getting away. Trundle has to go and flash, and yes, the red buff will kill Ari, trying to flash away. Good.
Yeah, and that
Good
was
stuff. Rise getting away just barely. How much health does he have?
I mean, he got down pretty low. He probably got down to below 50. But,
oh yeah.
I don't know. They did get a pretty good engage on Ari, and it was kind of interesting. Like you said, they were pushing up the lane because they kind of expected that Ari and Malphite were going top, and so they wanted to see Rumble could have been defensive, and if they were, pressuring Rumble top and ganking him, then they could have pushed mid tower. So that's why they were trying to push down that tower. But then all of a sudden, Ari's out in the middle of the lane, and they're like, oh, well, I guess we might as well fight her. And actually turned out in their favor. It looked like they might have the burst. If Ari had just stayed in for another second, when Malphite ulted, they probably could have bursted down Rise, and then seen if they could turn it onto Trundle.
Yeah, and Vlad and Rumble still having their... So duking it out top lane, trying to see who can get their big muscle in. But I was look at the chat though. That's. I was wondering about this in champ select. They said random Rumble too strong. I think Reflex just. I don't think that was a last second pick. I think that was just a straight up random for Trundle. Trundle.
I will never
believe
lies?
It. I think they
Trundle
random. I think they
well
random
with their team.
I think they randomed.
Trundle's like perfect for like a poke. He's also good for engage. They've got like single target engage. He can throw the pillar behind, but he's good for a kiting team.
I think they legitimately randomed. Oh, but Trundle's
then
getting trapped.
They randomed Lucky, so they shouldn't be talking.
Hey man, random legitimate strat. I don't if you want to be thrown off your guard, just take random.
You're not getting some bonus gold in the beginning there.
That could always change. You never know. Could be a patch later on. Yeah, you want a random. You want to be fun.
Not.
I hope so.
I never mind.
So Siver's gonna go ahead and
the way it is
getting some push on bot lane. Let's look at the creep scores right now, because Tristana has really fallen off in comparison to Sivir. Look at that. That's a 30 creep score difference between the two. That's massive.
That's pretty wild. I mean, that's all you know, Sivir does. All she does is farm.
That's all she does. She farms and backdoors.
Tristana and Soraka, they know that Sivir's not going to be very aggressive.
Epic knows. They have their Prink ward over by Dragon. They're trying to do something. Ahri does get the taunt off on Taric. Malphite comes in with the ult. There is a snare on a Malphite. Rumble ult going down. We're aiming for Soraka. She goes down. Taric is just barely going to get away. Trundle goes down in the fight. Malphite is so low. Oh my God! Everyone from Reflex,
cleaning up. I mean,
everyone from Reflex just kind of just got
it looked like it was
Look
so
at Malphite.
Weird. We have all these great AoEs. It looked like it was like back and forth, and so Epic originally looked like they were in a good position. They got the great Malphite engage, which dropped everyone really low. But then when Rumble came in and just throwing off all of his damage and his ultimate, everyone was dropping so quickly.
They got Soraka convincingly, right? But at that point, everyone just decided to focus Malphite.
Yeah,
which you're focusing, the tankier character, and
actually,
everyone was there.
It's actually interesting. Malphite as a champion, he's got one of the a really low base HP actually, because his passive would be so strong with the high base HP. So usually you want to get some early health items, and right off the bat, not only do they have Heart of Gold, but they also have Kindle Gems. That's really going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, you gotta get that health. You gotta get the cooldown. GP10s also always good, always good. We are 14 minutes into the round. Epic is leading 3-6, and they got about 2.5K gold advantage, which is it's respectable. They got the first dragon.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, this game could really be going either way though. That last fight was so close, and then that would have decided the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, like we discussed before, Epic really has early game convincingly locked, but once we hit mid, once we hit late, Reflex is just they should be, rebounding back just a tad and just enough to start taking over these team fights, but we will see how it progresses.
I'm a little bit surprised, actually, the more I look back at it. Reflex, they do have great dragon control with Trundle, but really the only way that Epic is going to be able to get dragon is if Reflex starts going for it. We actually have Malphite coming down here.
Tristana getting focused by the boomerang.
From Soraka, he's going to be able to get in onto this.
Oh,
there it is.
Malphite comes in with the ult. They want Taric. They want Taric. Can we get some more pancakes? We need to go back to IHOP. Soraka goes down from Sivir.
And that was huge.
Look at Taric.
Taric, if he had gone down, then Tristana would have had her cooldowns refresh, her jump.
And Tristana needs to get. Tristana knows she's in danger. She needs to get away. Trying to edge it out with those boomerangs. She goes ahead and busts her shots.
But now this tower is
about to go down. If Trundle's got to be careful, because if he somehow gets if he gets that tower aggro, he's in deep.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't. Takes the tower, and Rumble takes top.
Yeah, so
and right now that gold advantage has just dwindled.
Just disappeared.
It's just gone. It's gone. It's gone completely. It's only about 600 gold separating these two teams right now.
Mm-hmm. But we did see Sivir's excellent sustained damage through that fight, and Taric just barely able to survive that. I don't know. It's pretty surprising. I thought they were going to burst him down almost immediately.
I thought so. He got away just barely, but heals, man.
Mm-hmm.
Double heal.
But we do see that everyone's farming up, pretty effectively. It's kind of a heavy farm game. There's some aggression, but it's not really affecting their laning CS, which is going to result.
Really, the only lane, which is really has a clear winner, is bot lane, and Sivir just in terms of creeps just won outright.
But all of these items on these AP champs is going to result in a very aggressive mid game. Both teams are really going to be kind of peaking around the same time, though the late game of Vlad and Tristana is going to be something that Reflex is going to watch out for, because they do kind of have a point in the game where they'll have their like maximum efficiency. Once Rise gets a couple of items, he doesn't necessarily fall off, but he doesn't have the same late game potential as, say, a Vlad would.
And Vlad is definitely building to be a sustaining force in these team fights. He's got his Woda, he's got his Spirit Visage, correct? I believe that is. So, and he's just looking to get in a fight. I'm gonna lose health. I'm just gonna get it back. It's no big deal.
But
and Vlad's getting kind of trapped, but Malphite's coming up, bring up the rear. Vlad's going to get in his pool. Once he comes out, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. But Rumble is going to fall down to the Vlad
ultimate.
Trundle may not be able to get away. There comes the Shurelya's pop. Can we get some more pancakes, please? Don't even need it. And Ari here, just she's in the river, just trying to fend off, making sure there's no backup coming from around the way. And it looks like a top tower. Vlad is going to do some work on that.
And I'm a little bit surprised. Not great vision by Reflex. They don't have a lot of wards placed, but where they do have wards, are these actually new? I can't tell. That's surprising. But where they actually do have wards, they could see Malphite coming up behind them, so they knew.
They know he's there. They
knew that right behind them they had that threat coming, but they didn't seem to react to it. And so Vlad was just kind of calmly, don't mind me. I'm just going to pull for a second, and then once Malphite gets up here, we're going to pick up all these kills.
Oh yeah, and Tarek Rise, they knew correctly to just back off. Like, listen, if you don't want to die, also. Ari's getting some damage on her in mid, but she's using the ult. She's trying to get Rise down as much as she can. She gets exhausted, flashes away.
Be able to chase after
then there's a snare from Rise. Rumble will finish it off.
And that's a little bit too over aggression. You saw she didn't really have the damage to take down Rise, but for some reason she used her ultimate to continue blinking towards Rise, even though she really wasn't going to be able to force him out of lane, really wasn't going to be able to get the kill, and as a result, she didn't have that extra flash to get away when Rumble came up, and he just came right up the lane and was able to take her down with that huge range on the ultimate.
All right, so they're trying to take down mid tower. Reflex knows that, we got the cavalry. They're arriving. We got to back off. So everyone, it's a party in mid lane tonight. Reflex versus EPIK. We are still in game 1, 5-8. The gold lead is in favor of EPIK, and Vlad, he's getting snared. He took a lot of damage.
That Trundle pillar taking him down.
Wonderful pillar. We're still gonna go. We're gonna push this issue. We're gonna take down this tower. We got enough.
And then the
to take
snare
down
onto
damage.
Malphite. Eric's actually gonna be taking it.
EPIK.
Actually, Rise taking it. So
EPIK was just everyone was just scattered one by one, and you know what? That's a free dragon.
That's another. Yeah, that
dragon
is a free
just came up. That is free dragon.
And I was about to say, if Reflex can keep their team split, they've got lots of poke damage, lots of single target. If they can keep Malphite and Vlad's ultimates off of people and not allow EPIK to burst people down, then very quickly they could win these fights. And guess what? Vlad and Malphite, neither of them used their ultimates in that last fight.
That dragon was so free. That dragon was so free.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's been really close so far, but we are seeing that point in time where Reflex, they're just really strong.
This is now the point. We've now hit mid-game. Reflex is bouncing back, and we see them, they're catching EPIK. We have lone members out of there, and they're working on that advantage, and they have a small gold lead. It's about 1K. But it's definitely something to be spoken of, the fact that the gold lead, there really isn't much of one right now.
Oh my gosh!
And Malphite
that
coming
Malphite
in,
ult.
he gets the ult in,
Rumble
off
just
on
sitting in the middle
Rumble,
of the team.
but he still just barely goes down. We're still a tower. Pancakes going down on Tarek. They just picked him off. They just picked off Rumble, just like that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. He was kind of just sitting there casually. I was kind of just watching casually.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, Rumble's just there. Huh, okay. Huh, that happened.
But we do see an Oracle's onto Tarek. Let's see, Soraka has one as well, so that'll definitely be good from both teams. I'm a little bit surprised he actually dropped a ward there, but didn't see the enemy ward.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit unfortunate. But it will help him them with Baron control, particularly if they start going for Baron a little bit later in the game. Trundle can actually take Baron with his team very early in the game. Once you kill Baron, that passive is going to help you revive, so that you don't have to worry about getting too low for an impending team fight. But if Trundle has someone there attacking Baron kind of with him, he can take it down pretty quickly.
Yeah, so now we're really hitting a dangerous point in mid game, where both teams have experienced situations where individual members have been picked off, and it would behoove them really to just stick together. But also keep in mind that Reflex has the pushing power of Sivir.
Yeah, they do.
So I think we may see some sort of split push or backdoor strat coming out of Reflex in the near future.
And we actually see right off the bat, Sivir is going to be coming bottom and just
continue
taking that bot lane. Farming.
Now here's the question: when they see Sivir bot lane, is EPIK just going to take that as a cue to go for Baron?
Well, I mean,
they have vision on 4 of the 5.
Yeah. I mean, later in the game, that would be a threat, but right now, Malphite is just such a weak jungler at Baron and Dragon control that there's really absolutely no threat at all. It's basically a 4v4. And if they all sit in the middle of that pile under Baron, and Rumble just ults right in the middle of them, the flash ultimate from Malphite right on top of Rumble. Rumble gets off the ultimate, but he's kind of going down quickly.
Rumble goes down quick.
And there's Trundle as well, is going to go down to Vlad. Almost going down himself.
Vlad getting sandwiched in between those two towers. Soraka is still in the thick of it. Rise is about to fall. Tristana. Oh, man. Sivir, she's trying to do work. She does get down Soraka.
Let's see what she can get here. She might be able to pick up this Vlad as well.
Boomerang. Oh, Vlad just jukes the boomerang. He goes into the pool. We see one more auto attack from Sivir. Take him down. Malphite chasing her down.
And Sivir, can you be a hero here?
Sivir. She flashed away and the heal.
Why did
Pop the heal.
I'm a little bit surprised.
Hey, you got to make sure.
No, but I'm saying
make sure.
Ahri was out of mana. She had basically everything on cooldown. She'd already thrown off her abilities at Sivir. Sivir could have just used the heal, picked up the Ahri kill, then chased down Malphite.
I like the retreat because she got so many kills. I don't want her to. If I were playing Sivir right now, I would not want to give back both buffs to EPIK. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to be sure. I want to heal. I want to get away. I want to be safe.
And the big thing to note from that last fight is just the fantastic control by EPIK at kiting the tower. They kept on transferring who was tanking the tower by just moving in and out of the target range, so that none of them, except for Tristana, she did die to the tower actually, none of them up until that point were really getting that low from the tower so that they could stay in that fight, you know, a little bit longer.
Right. So we've hit the 24-minute mark. Gold, it is still ridiculously even, but Tristana, you are alone, little lady.
I think they actually took the wrong path, but she is definitely split. She's gone.
She rocket jumps away. She gets there.
Oh, the miss on the flash. That was a shame.
Flash,
she didn't even need to waste it.
Got the range reduced. Can't do that anymore.
But even if she'd gotten that flash off, the team was waiting for her.
Everyone was there. It's a 5v1. She was not getting away. Shouldn't even have bothered. She wasted cleanse and flash. She could have saved those.
And this should be pretty interesting to see with Sivir's pushing capabilities. I don't know that EPIK can really force a strong engage onto their team. Sivir, she's got the shield, she can back out. Rise has his own Banshees, so there goes a lot of the burst potential from EPIK. So Sivir can just sit here and poke down these towers, keep on pushing down these minions, and if they try and come in, then they've got lots of single target burst damage for whoever's leading the charge.
And EPIK really also, EPIK just really has it in for Rise. They just really want to make sure that, you know, he's out of the fight ASAP.
Oh, but they're walking in this bush here. They don't have any vision.
Bush.
But
Malphite wastes the ult out of position away from the rest of his team.
They are wasting a lot of damage on Malphite, though.
You know, Sivir's getting focused. You might be losing those buffs very soon. Oh my God! Look at her health. Look at her health.
And Soraka barely got away as well. Soraka with like 50. You know, everyone from both teams getting very low.
Tarek so low. Oh my God. Oh, that was a nothing. That was 2 for free. That was 2 for free. Malphite just wandering into that bush. Force the ult. Force the ult. And when he ulted, he actually ulted towards the rear of Reflex's line, away from the rest of the team. Yeah,
they definitely weren't in position for that. And I feel like you have to be expecting at this point in time that, you know, Reflex is moving as a team, so you can't give that much stretch. No. Malphite was just way ahead of his team. I don't know. They were trying to come up for the blue buff, so I guess they were taken by surprise. But I feel like you have to be expecting it, since buff control and Baron control is so key at this point in the game.
Yeah, we are in mid. I mean, we are in mid game. Those are, you know, really the big advantage points to obtain whenever you have the ability to. And right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot of action towards Baron area, which I thought I would be, but you know, it looks like, you know, Reflex is just content sticking with their plan, pushing, making advantages for themselves wherever they can, because this is really, we've reached a point where Reflex's team can really excel.
Yeah, the combination late game of Tristana and Vladimir is definitely painful. Tristana is actually the perfect DPS to pair with an AoE mage, and she's got 2 of them. I'm not sure about, you know, how effective Malphite's going to be as the game continues. I
think even now, even right now, I think Malphite has just essentially just been reduced to an ult. He's an ult. That's all he is right now.
But if he can get the enemy team to focus him like they did that last fight, while his team is sitting there dealing damage, then he will have done his job because they have plenty of damage as a team. So, you know, he will be falling off some, but the key is going to be seeing whether he can get a good engage and whether or not he can get Reflex to focus him.
Now, I've noticed this on Reflex. Look at their defensive builds. We've got a Cloak, we've got a Quicksilver Sash, Banshee's Veil, another Sash. They're, you know, they've realized that, you know, listen, you know, we're facing up against a lot of AP.
Oh my gosh, Malphite missing the ultimate.
Wow, he wanted to just run in place for a second.
And Reflex knows it. They're chasing him down, trying to engage
they've lost
desperately.
Their initiation. That's really, right now, Epic's only real initiation tool. Their major initiation tool is the Malphite ult. Because that's all he has. He is the ult. He's an ult. He's a ult, singular, one. That's all he's got.
And you talk about defense, well, let's look at the damage output that Sivir is going to be doing. She has the Infinity Edge, she has the Phantom Dancer, but then to go along with her shield, she's also got a Quicksilver Sash.
Yeah.
And against a team that's so much about picking people off, which is what Epic is right now, there's no way they're going to be able to stop her damage. She can just sit there comfortably in these team fights and just unload.
Rumble and Sivir both have Quicksilver Sashes, means that, you know, Ahri, I'm sorry, you're a very attractive lady and all, but your charms are not going to work against these two. I'm sorry. It's just, I mean, it's not you. It's me in this headband. All right. I mean, I went to the store. I know what you do, but I'm sorry, Ahri. Love you. My hands are up.
Your hands are up.
My hands are up. They can't do any more than that. So right now we're a little bit away from the 30-minute mark. It's still the gold. Look at the gold. It's still ridiculously close.
Yeah, I mean, it's been back and forth the entire game, and I mean, still, it's anyone's game. I think that Reflex really has a kind of a team that's like a force to be reckoned with at this point. Epic needs to be very careful, pick their engages carefully, but if they can pick someone off, particularly if they can get a good, you know, ult with Malphite, then they've got tons of burst damage with Ahri, they've got tons of burst damage with Vlad, they both have, you know, the Rabadons and the double Will of the Ancients.
Yeah, but the big part of that sentence, though, big part about the sentence is if. If. Big if. Huge if. Massive if.
But
world-sized.
We do have a potential engage coming up here. Malphite, I think he's trying to kind of tease
trying to
Reflex.
get in position, but I mean, it's a very dangerous dance they're doing right now, because if someone from Epic gets picked off, they're already at Baron, they're giving it away and possibly giving away the game. He's walking around, he's trying to bait Reflex into making some sort of misstep. They're not taking the bait. It's very tense.
It's going to be pretty hard.
Extremely tense right now, because, you know, they're both dancing around Baron. They both have those wards. They're both counter warding.
But this is a little bit in Epic's advantage right now. They do have huge waves pushing top and bottom, which allows them to just stall out the game further. They're not getting a lot of farm, but it does give Ahri a time for blue. And then if someone does go bottom to stop this wave, because this is going to build up, you know, and push down some of these towers. Actually, this first tower, I'm surprised it's so full. They haven't done any damage to it.
That just shows how dominant Sivir was bot lane. It just did not get touched. And look at the creep score between Sivir and Tristana. My God.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's pretty.
That's
almost
100. Yeah, it's 80 creeps up. She's 80 creeps up.
That's really the difference.
And Sivir has not died. She has not died.
And it's such a passive lane that
they're
very surprised.
they're going into that bush. Trundle out of position, gets pancaked, cannot get taunted. Yeah, just barely out of range.
If they can get a taunt with Ahri, then they can basically burst that person down. But
I also love this game. It's like, I'm going to place a ward, now you're going to place a ward, we're both going to take out our wards. It's these dangerous ward games we play.
But this is kind of what I'm talking about. We've got you know, large waves pushing on top and bottom.
Malphite's
the Malphite ultimate and Ahri jumping in.
Vladimir getting focused, Malphite getting focused. You're in the thick of it. Carrick is going to go down early, but Malphite... Oh, Malphite's going to probably go down today. Ignite. Vladimir goes down. Soraka just gets melted by Sivir. Ahri's going to get away full out. Look at Malphite. Malphite, where are you running? He's trying to get away. Yeah, just let him. Just let him go. It doesn't matter. Ahri's still trying to make something happen, but if she keeps on pressing this, Trundle may die, but at what cost? Oh, and Rumble goes in with a flash over into red spawn area. I think he's going to be able to take her up pretty convincingly. He's got that slow, and Ahri is just slowly withering away.
Oh, and
Tristana is going to follow suit. The rocket jump cannot get her away to safety. She gets slowed and is exhausted. She also falls down, and Malphite's just kind of wandering in. He's like, hey, guys, am I late to the party?
Yeah, that was really huge.
Yeah.
I mean, once, as long as Reflex has enough damage mitigation to, survive.
Reflex is plenty good on defense right now.
Right.
They bought the correct defensive items to this match.
And
you
that's
got your
really
sashes,
key.
you got your Banshee's Veil. What's Trundle? Trundle's probably gonna upgrade that cloak. He also gets another Quicksilver. Wow, man.
But so Reflex, they have enough, survivability to withstand the burst that Epic provides, and then Epic, they don't really have a way to disengage fights. Like Reflex, if they want to, they could just stop a fight. They can throw up that Trundle pillar, they could throw off Rumble's ultimate, and kind of just escape as a team. But Epic doesn't have that option. So
Epic has no escapes, and they have one initiation.
Right. So once they've initiated, they've kind of, set the plan. It's like, hey, we've got to go to this fight full force, and if it doesn't work out, then Reflex gets to chase him down like happened a second ago.
So we're about 34 minutes in. The gold, and even that after those massive team fights, they still can't believe how even the gold is. It's just, it blows my mind. But it may not be that way for long. Reflex is going to go ahead, take this dragon. They missed clearing that ward in that small bush, but I'm not sure if Epic is even going to bother pressing the situation here. But they are laying in wait in mid lane, but I think they're just going to go ahead and back off. Already trying to just, do what you can, try and pop that Banshees.
Reflex really needs to get some involvement from Tristana here, and Vlad. They've kind of been throwing off a little bit of damage, but as a team, they're not really getting the sustained burst that they want. They're kind of, it feels like these fights are happening, and they kind of throw off a little bit of burst, and then they're just kind of scattering. And so we need much more protracted fights. Try and I don't know, just not be blowing your load so much and just throwing everything towards the first 5 seconds of the fights. Get Tristana involved some without, that she needs to be very careful. She needs to get longer damage periods in these fights, poking them down some without getting caught. And that's going to be key, whether or not she can get some damage in without Ryze picking up that snare, which is why she really needs to finish her Quicksilver Sash.
Yeah, and Epic is also, they're running double Woda, which I think they're really kind of relying on the spell vamp from Vlad to try and sustain in lieu of the fact that their Malphite is now just an ult. And Ari is trying to get some damage done on Rumble and Trundle in that small bush. It is warded. They know it's warded. And
Malphite. I don't even know why they thought that was a good engage.
Yeah, they knew they were there. Everyone, it was public information to everybody, and Malphite just could not make it happen with that ult. Has missed ult number 2, if we're counting right, or is there more?
Least.
Or is there? Yeah, at least is there?
But see, the big thing is, I mean, I recognize what they were trying to do. They thought that they had him in the bush potentially.
Right.
And then the big thing is if they can get their damage without getting their team low. In all these fights, we're seeing that they're putting their carries up in harm's way, and that's when it's turning against them. So they wanted to get them on the other side of that wall, so they could just be attacking over that wall and not be at any harm of anything.
It's just a big tug of war. Reflex is pinging over at Baron. Soraka's going to ward, they know. But that Malphite ult is down. He cannot ult into there. Baron may just fall before Epic can even get around. And that is exactly what happens. And Malphite is caught, has to flash away. Trundle pillar coming up. Ryze comes in, flashes in, and just is in the process of currently melting Vlad.
Vlad actually getting away. I'm a little bit surprised by that.
I hope he does. Oh man, he's running for dear life. He's trying to get the health steal off of those minions. Good call. Oh, walks right into boomerangs. Good on Sivir. Ryze is just gonna tank the tower. He's like, I don't care. Get that guy. Tries to pull away. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna take this tower, and they're just gonna keep on pushing from here.
Yeah, and even though the gold is close, this is looking more and more like a game one for
Epic
Reflex.
Epic is now on the defense. Reflex completely dominant now with the Baron buff. They're just going to go ahead and just charge this tower. Epic knows there's nothing they can really do right now.
Yeah, and Epic, it just didn't seem like they ever got anything to kind of go the way they wanted.
No.
They had, some nice early game aggression. They did get off to a little bit of a lead, but all these team fights, I don't know. It's like, where's the damage? They're kind of just scattering in all of these fights, and it's all very kind of unorganized. Which is just unfortunate.
Like Vladimir was, meant to be the main damage soak. Couldn't quite pull it off. Malphite he's been reduced to an ultimate. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And Sivir just completely wrecked bot lane against Tristana. Even now, it's over 100 on the creep lead.
We do have Tristana and Malphite here. I'm not really sure. If
I
they're
don't know
hoping
what
someone's
they're
gonna walk in
trying
the
to
brush.
do.
Like I don't know what their plan is.
Right now, Epic's only option here is to just wait out Baron buff and just see where they can take it after the buff wears off.
Yeah. But even so, I mean, Reflex is in such a huge position right now. They have Baron, they have an inhibitor. They can basically just walk up and push down another lane, and just play defensively and push down a lane. And Epic, there's not really much they can do about it. Like they're not winning the engages to stop the pushes. They don't have like a good split push. They don't really have much going for them at this point. So it's kind of just the slow wait. Until the kind of doom. But I mean, they do have enough damage where if they get the fight that they want, the sustained damage that they want, they could potentially pull it out. But
I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
It's not seeming like it's happening.
And Reflex is just still more content just to keep on pressing the issue, taking these towers. Sivir going in with the boomerang, getting all those minions down. I'm saying, man, it looks like it's nearly over. It's just a matter of time. But the thing is, though, if Epic can fend them off for long enough for the Baron buff to wear off, they may still have something in them.
I'm a little bit surprised that Reflex isn't going for the spot lane here.
Yeah,
because
I'm surprised Sivir's not down there pushing.
The benefit would be that they would split Epic's attention a little bit further. They can split them top and mid, and so we actually have the Malphite ult there.
Comes in, but there's Shirelia's away. That's it. Trundle, not sure what he's doing, but Tarek manages to take out RA. Trundle falls to Tristana. And actually, we're just piece by piece. Rise is still alive.
Yeah, I mean, this fight's actually gone very well for Epic here. We have Rumble kind of sitting in the base.
This is the kind of engagement that Epic needed, but
everyone from Epic's really low, but
there wasn't
really a lot
more damage
accomplished
as
by
Rumble's still behind the tower. Let's go ahead and finish him off. Okay, now this should be it. I'm expecting a GG any second.
Basically, they were able to split Reflex in that fight. And,
right.
I mean,
they got Trundle
for a little bit.
They got Trundle away, but I think Trundle was the wrong person they needed to isolate.
Yeah.
They needed to isolate either Rise or Sivir, and they couldn't do it.
But I guess the big thing is it's just too little, too late.
Yep.
And this game is done. So congratulations to Reflex on this game 1. It should be really interesting to see how Epic kind of changes up their plan. They did get some nice early game aggression, but maybe, focused a little bit too much on that point. Malphite kind of crippled them a little bit after that early game when he wasn't able to get what he wanted to accomplish.
Yeah. So that is it. Game 1 is going to go to Reflex Gaming. Good job, everybody. I was really worried there for a minute because early game Epic really did have a little bit of an advantage, but in the end that's what the difference of over 100 creep kills will do. Look at a 6K difference between Tristana and Sivir.
I mean, that's
wow.
We see a lot of farm from Reflex. I don't know, they were really just able to push the game to the point that they wanted, that mid game, that perfect mid game, and that's where they took control. They they lost the early a little bit, but they really kept the game in in control. It really never got away from them.
Yep.
And then Epic, I don't know, they just weren't able to pull out that early advantage and use it towards any really goal.
Yeah. Mid and top for the most part were pretty even. Sivir dominating absolutely helped, but man, I feel bad for Malphite, man. It's just. He dropped off so suddenly, just reduced to nothing but an ultimate to initiate. And that was really the only initiation they had after Reflex started buying those Quicksilvers, man. That was really all they had. Everyone had headbands. Everyone was Solid Snake for a day.
And the big thing is they were trying to kind of force engages that weren't really happening.
Right.
Epic. So, I mean, they probably need to be a little bit more passive. I mean, they were not passive as in like not aggressive, but passive with their initiation choice. And a lot of times it seemed like he just wanted to get in there, get some kills, and so we saw a couple of missed ults just because, I don't know, he wasn't really finding the engages that they really needed. He wasn't ready to wait for someone to be out of position so they could pick them off.
And 95% of that game was so ridiculously even.
Yeah.
I think EPIK was just kind of on edge, trying to make something happen. It's like, listen, we're really, this is an even game right now. We need to do a big play to try and surge over, take the lead, and it backfired.
But I mean, looking back at the All-Stars on Team Reflex, I mean, they had Rise, one of the strongest laners in the game, just really fantastic through the mid game. They had Rumble, who's actually not played a lot, but he's still really strong. He has a lot of damage output, and then also the disruption from the ultimate's key. And their first pick was Sivir. Like, they decided right off the bat what kind of a team they wanted to build, and it was Sivir to stall out through the early game. And EPIK, they went the aggression, but Sivir kind of stalled it out and winning that bot lane, which is surprising.
Yep.
Stalling out the game, good AoE damage, and then follow it up with some fantastic damage from your burst casters.
And also, when in doubt, random Trundle. Too good.
Yeah.
Too OP. Random Trundle. Random Trundle. I still believe that was a random. I still believe that was a random.
Lies.
I will bet you $5.
I won't hear it.
I'll bet you $5 that was a random. $5. Actually, no, don't.
No, I'll do the $5. No, are we on camera here? Are we on camera? Is this?
Well,
like we're gonna get a call for illegal gambling or something.
Well, we get our wallets. You stay tight. Reflex versus EPIK Game 2 coming up in just a minute. This is IPL Killing Spree. See you soon.